In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a set of curtains using no sewing machine, no needle, and no thread. If you want to learn how, keep watching. Hey everyone, thanks so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Katie Falinger, and on this channel I share all sorts of DIY tutorials and ideas, all to make your home your happiest place. So if you're into that, consider subscribing. Okay, so my twin girls have this sweet outdoor fort. However, it was in serious need of some embellishment. So I decided to make a set of Paw Patrol curtains to give it a vibe of the Lookout Tower from the show. My girls are huge fans of this show at the moment. So question for the parents who are watching, what's the show your kids are obsessed with? And taking it a step further, what kids show theme song do you know by heart? Let me know in the comments. I am telling you, I can sing the Paw Patrol theme song in my sleep. But back to the project. What's kind of awesome about it is that it's far from labor intensive. You don't need any special skills, and it's actually really inexpensive to make. These curtains cost me all of about $20 worth of items that I didn't already have sitting around. Okay, let's start with a list of materials, and a heads up, I have a shopping list of everything that I used for this project down in the description because it's always easier to not have to write things down. For this project, you will need cotton fabric in a pattern of your choice. I used 2 yards, a pair of high quality scissors, a tube of liquid stitch, tape measure, curtain rods, and all the hardware to hang them. You'll also need a can of Scotchgard. This is the water and sun shield with UV protector spray. Now, before I even ordered my fabric, I measured my windows, and with the help of my mini assistants, we measured the width and the length of each, but we won't be going by the exact measurements. For one thing, I want my curtain to fall just below the rim of the window. So for this 19.5-inch tall bay window, I want my curtain panels to be 20 inches tall. Also, we need to cut extra width and length to cover for the hemming we're eventually going to do, as well as the curtain rod loops that we need to make. So, for each panel, I would suggest adding an extra 1.5 to 2 inches for each hem lengthwise and at the bottom. For the curtain rod loop that you're making at the top of the panel, I'd add an extra 4 inches at the top. So, to use this example again, my final panel is going to be 19 inches wide by 20 inches tall. To create a panel that size with hemming and the added loops, I need a piece of fabric that's about 23 inches wide by 26 to 27 inches tall. Now, I'm planning to make a total of 8 panels, 2 for each set of windows in the fort. So I have 44 inches worth of width of fabric. And what's helpful with this particular fabric is that the pattern doesn't have to be turned a certain way. All the pups are facing different directions. So basically, I can cut out the panels for my curtains any way that I'm just able to fit them on this big piece of fabric. That also meant I didn't have to purchase as much material for this project either. So I'm going to turn the material over so that I can mark it from the back side, and using my tape measure, I'll mark those measurements. Now, what you may notice is I didn't press my fabric before I started working. I didn't forget, I actually chose not to. Now, I am going to iron out any obnoxious wrinkles before I hang these, but this project is so carefree. And I know for a fact that my kids will not notice nor care if there are wrinkles in their fort curtains. They'll be able to see past the imperfections to the magic of Marshall and the other Paw Patrol pups, trust me. Another great thing about this project is that I don't feel the need to make super specific cuts either. I can freehand my cuts and worry about my final measurements later. To me, it's easier to just trim down my panels to a more manageable size. Another helpful tip is to use the first panel that you cut as a pattern to trace and cut out any other panels that you need of the same size. Okay, so here I have 2 of the small panels I'm making for the 2 small windows in the fort. These need to eventually end up 10.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. So we'll start by making our hems. So to make the hems, I used my liquid stitch. Now this is basically glue dressed up like a sewing machine, and a large tube of this will run you just under $10 on Amazon. Now I already had this sitting around, and you may remember I used this as part of my leather cord keeper tutorial. If you're interested in checking that out, I'll put that down in the description and also link it up here in the cards. So grab your liquid stitch and shake it up really well. Now, it's best to start with the vertical lengthwise hems and get those set before you turn to the horizontal hems, since those are the ones that involve your curtain rod loops. So turning the panel lengthwise, I'll lay down a solid but thin line of liquid stitch and then simply fold the fabric over carefully. Now, the glue takes just a few seconds to hold, and then you can move on to the other side and do the same steps for the other panel as well. Now, in between hemming, I'm also doing measuring checks just to make sure my panels match. If the panels aren't the exact size I originally planned, I'm okay with that, but I do want them to match each other so nothing looks inconsistent. Now, you see that white trim at the top of these panels? I'm gonna fold that end over twice just to hide that. So I'll actually glue this twice with liquid stitch, folding over the white trim first with one line of liquid stitch, letting that set, and then repeating that step with one more fold. Again, I'm checking my measurements, and where my finger is pointing is where the panel should end. So that gives me plenty of extra fabric on top to make my curtain rod loops. So I'm gonna fold that top piece over, line it up where I want it, and then again, lay down a line of liquid stitch and press the fabric down firmly to secure it. And I'll follow all of those steps one more time on the other panel. I've got two more panels of this small size. So here is a closer look at how the panels came out. And if I turn it to the back, which is awesome. Okay, now I'm ready to move on to the big panels. So same rules apply. I know my measurements need to eventually add up to 19 inches of width by 20 inches of length. I'll start with my vertical hems on the sides of the panels, squeeze a thin line of liquid stitch, and carefully fold those over. Then, measuring throughout, just like with the small panels, I'll create the base hem of the curtain panel and finish up by measuring out a loop for the curtain rod up at the top. And I'll repeat that whole process 3 more times with my other fabric panels. Okay, so once I'm done with all of my stitching, I'll have 8 total panels, 4 large and 4 small. And since these are going to be living outside, I need to make sure that they are weatherproof. So for that, I'm going to use this Scotchgard weatherizing spray. Now, this is the first time that I've used this, so I'll let you know how it goes, but it's supposed to protect the fabric from rain and from any fading of the sun. So to apply this, I just laid all my panels out on the grass, and I'm just going to shake up this can really well and spray a uniform coat all over both sides of each panel. One can of this is supposed to cover 60 square feet, so I will have plenty left over once I'm done. And now it's time to install these bad boys. So I'm attaching some sturdy small curtain rods inside the fort, and once those are drilled in, we can hang these up. This was a fun one, and it's great that it's a relatively small investment to create too, because the girls' tastes are inevitably going to change. So when they go from Paw Patrol to eventually, I don't know, unicorns, let's say, I can create a new set of these at minimal cost of my time and money. So if you want to try this out for yourself, don't forget to check out that shopping list in the description. Meanwhile, if you liked this video, please let me know by hitting that little thumbs up, share it with your creator friends, and subscribe for new content every week. I post a new video every Thursday, and you can ring that bell to get notified when new videos go up. But feel free to hit me up between videos too, either by leaving a comment below or by dropping me a note over on social. I'm on all the platforms, and I've listed all the places that you can find me in the description. Guys, thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next Thursday. My channel is dedicated. 3, 2. Is that the word I want to use? Hey everyone! There is a fly on my light. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a set of curtains there, mate. Okay. My leather for my fort curtains. So, yeah. So if you want to try this out for yourself, try it out for yourself. There's a shopping list in the description. Chose not to. Feel free, and also Yeah. If you want to look.